Hello, my friends. Good evening. I am actually doing this through my cell phone because the computer is not working. As I always say, every week there is some kind of adventure here in my house with the internet, with computers, with all kinds of things. And I I don't understand, but I don't give up. I continue, and I already left my cell phone as a backup. So if this happened, I would be able to do it through the cell phone. So I see there are two people connected. I just would like to ask you if you can hear me well or if I should put earplugs so my voice, the microphone, my voice would be better. Could you just I never did through the cell phone. I think I can see what you're writing. Could you just let me know if you can hear me well, if I can continue, or if I need some kind of microphone? Hello, Teresa, Carla Lima, Claudia Garces. Hi, girls. Can you just please confirm if you can hear me well, if it's okay? I don't have an answer from you guys. I hope you are listening. I don't know if you're writing. I cannot see anything. No audio? Okay, so let me try plan B. No audio? Okay, so 1 second. Let me plug this. I never did this through my cell phone. Let's hope it's gonna work. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? Okay, has audio. Very good. Very good. So, as I was just saying, the computer is not working. So, I'm doing via cell phone. I hope you can all um, benefit from it. And I will try not to move much because this phone is gonna fall. So, if you are just joining us, if this is your first time, we studied this beautiful book, Among Brothers of Other Lands, for like 45 minutes, 40 minutes, depends. And then we studied this other beautiful book, The Gospel According to Spiritism. And we studied this for like 15, 20 minutes, depends. So today we will be studying chapter 16 of Among Brothers of Other Lands. This will be very interesting. It's going to be an interview of Brother X. So it's a different chapter. It's a long chapter. Usually it's like 2 pages. Today will be like 5 or 6 pages. So it is long. And before I start, I just would like to invite all of you to relax a little bit. Let's do a quick prayer. If you have your water bottle, as I always say, keep your water bottle because this will be our good medication. This can be used through the whole week. And as the water is going to start finishing, you can put more water and then you can pray, and that water will be your medication for another week until we come back. Okay, so let's just connect for a brief minute. Dear God, beloved Master Jesus, thank you so much. Thank you so much for our lives, for our homes, for our health, family, for everything we have, even our problems, because through the problems we will be facing difficulties that will require patience, that will require effort, but we will be able to overcome it and will be stronger afterwards, learning important lessons for our purification. So please, Master Jesus, inspire all of us at this moment to connect with the enlightened spirits so we'll be able to fully benefit from the studies. Thank you so much. So be it. Very good, my friends. Let's go. Let's go. If you have the book, it's chapter 16. As I just said, I'm on my phone. I'm not very good at this thing on the phone. It's new. I'm learning. Very good. I see a lot of people here. Claudia, Carla, Alicia Ramos. Hello, Alicia. How are you? Very good. Saul Souza. So I hope everything is good. You can hear me. And as I was mentioning, the chapter today is a long chapter. It's chapter 16. And this chapter is called Interview in New York. I lived in New York for almost 20 years, so I love New York. I miss New York sometimes, but not in the winter. So the spirit that is doing this interview is Brother X. Brother X is his nickname. His real name was Humberto de Campos. So Humberto de Campos was a journalist, he was a writer, an author. He was pretty well known in Brazil. There's a long story that I said about him in the beginning of the book, because after he died, he published certain poems, and Chico Xavier, the medium, published a book. And later on, the family of Humberto de Campos requested, how do you say, direitos autorais? I forgot to say this in English. But they wanted to be paid for these books, because if it was from Humberto, it has to be to his family. Long story short, Chico Xavier got in trouble, got very stressed about it, and when everything was resolved, Humberto de Campos resolved to adopt this nickname so he would never more put the medium Chico Xavier in any kind of trouble. So it's funny. A lot of people don't believe in these things. They don't believe in messages from mediums. But if it's gonna give money, now I believe and I want to be paid for it. Okay, different. So if you can research about it, or if you can go back to some of our old videos, you will hear the whole story that I explained about Humberto de Campos. So, as I mentioned, this is 2, 4, it's 6, 2, 4, 5 pages. So it's very long. I will read, and then we can make comments. If you guys want to write anything here, I will be able to read. I'm trying to learn through my cell phone. But hey, my friend Marcio. Hello, Marcio. Nice to have you here too. This is awesome. So let's start reading. Brother X writes in very easy ways, and he's super intelligent, so his interviews are great. Let's go. So he starts. Night fell after the long sunset. Walking by Central Park in New York, I surprisingly met a spiritual friend of serene and sweet look among the discarnated workers that rested after the day. Do you know him? Asked Sarpa, a friend that accompanied me at the short excursion. And prodding my curiosity, that is Horace Greeley, observer of Spiritism in America. I could not soften the affective impulse that called me for him, and I approached to him. Horace Greeley, I inquired emotionally while mobilizing my terrible English that I have been practicing recently. Yes, I am here to serve you. Realizing my difficulties in the rehearsal of treatment, he himself untangled me. Call me brother. We are companions of a journey. We have already overcome the old patterns of a prejudice. Our dialogue went clear and simple. My friend, I restarted it. I have frequently visited the United States along with Frederico Figner, old worker of Spiritism in Brazil, who tells me often about your apostleship. Similar trips acquired a tone of routine for me. However, now we accompany friends from Brazil who, in a spiritual endeavor, in a fraternal encounter with North American people. And I would like to listen to something from you. How can I help you? Would it be inconvenient to ask you about the Spiritist movement in your country? Means America? No problem at all. The new revelation, which became known among ourselves as the modern spiritualism, faces courageously here the obstacles of that materialism imposes on us in the present century, and it is building up its praiseworthy and missionary work. So praiseworthy is admirable, this good, this something positive, and missionary work. Sir, do you believe that it is equipped with all the resources that are needed to overcome the obstacles of our times? No, I should not overestimate our capacity of conception and action. The attachment to the phenomena determine the appearances of barriers that we did not count on. The hunger for demonstrations for the physical eyes, in a way, left the vision of the soul to the side. We make it happen, and we continue to make excellent constructions in the scientific field in order to patent the survival of the soul. However, we forget that the moral edification demands the same force of service and persuasion. That happens probably because we detain ourselves in the unilateral side of the problem. But spiritualism in North America is fed by the sap of Christianity. That was another comment from Brother X. And then the Spirit answers, no doubt. It is necessary to stress, however, that we have given too much emphasis to the static Christianity and the belief that appreciates Jesus as an external savior, without admitting him in the condition of master of the soul, with instructions and disciplines for the inner world. We lack the deep clarifications of Allan Kardec, which are capable of inducing us to the rational faith and the concept of the gospel of Jesus as a system of renewal and improvement of the individual field. Let me just see if there is any questions. So Saul Souza Jacob Frederico Figner. What are you saying? So this is not Frederico Figner. His name is Horace Greeley. And I don't know if you're talking about Brother X. Brother X, his name is Humberto de Campos. Frederico Figner is another person. So let's continue. This means that you, sir, have studied about Spiritist codification. Why not? Do you think that the Kardashian codification, the Allan Kardec codification, is inexpugnable, meaning unconquerable, ununderstandable? We cannot understand it. We cannot discover or conquer it. In the essence of the teachings that it bears, it stands over incorruptible directions and guidelines as life itself. But on the surface that the words brings about, it is natural that it suffers reviews over times, as any other human construction on earth, despite its respectability. So he is actually talking about that it could be revisited, it could be reseen, reanalyzed. We actually have been doing this for quite some time. And it's very difficult to see something that's wrong in the codification because Kardec was so super intelligent. The questions he asked really are very, very modern until nowadays, and he did this 200 years ago almost. So it's really impressive. But let's continue. Anyhow, did I stop here? Respectability, yes. Anyhow, you, our Latin brothers, O Allan Kardec, unimaginable benefits on the moral plane, mainly because he was faithful to the spirit instructors that coordinated his work. He presented it as their doctrine of universal character in the revival of the gospel of Christ. We, Anglo-Saxon colleagues, highlight 2 points in the fundamental importance that Allan Kardec did not neglect in favor of humankind: the binding of Spiritism to the dynamic Christianity and the obligation of free mediumship. Dynamic Christianity is a school of guidance that interferes in the processes of conscience, awakening each individual to the responsibility of living, and free mediumship is the only means to secure free manifestation of the spiritual world. Well, I am on page 3 and we still have 2 more pages to go. I think to don't make this too long without us making comments, I think I will start commenting here. What time is it? 9:22. And then I can continue reading and comment more. Although it can be a little bit confusing and maybe you guys are gonna forget what you would like to ask or to comment. So just to refresh the ones who arrived late, this is an interview that Brother X is doing, Spirit Brother X is doing to a spirit he met in New York City. And the name of the spirit is Horace Greeley. He was a man that studied and observed the modern spiritualism, how it was called in the past. And nowadays, we call it Spiritism. So they are talking, and Brother X is very curious to know how is Spiritism doing in America. Remember, this interview was done, let me see more or less the year, 1 second. This interview was done around the year of 1966. So it was around this time that he did this interview. And Horace is saying, it's going well. It's going well. And then he is talking about the difficulties the American spirits, the Anglo-Saxon spirits, they have facing the modern spiritualism or spiritism. So he is talking about here, for example. Oh, I think Saul said he said that he has visited the United States with his friends. Oh, okay, that's why you were talking, Saul. Let me see if I can open this. So tiny. I want to know if his friends is the one that. Yes! Now I understand your question. Yes, he is friends with Frederico Figner that wrote Voltei, I'm Back, Brother Jacó. Yes, another amazing book, beautiful book. I also spoke about Frederico Figner few chapters ago, and it's really super interesting his story in the book Voltei, because he was a super active spiritist in Brazil. He founded many spirits. He had many things of a charity he created, and he was very enlightened soul. And when he woke up in the other side, he really couldn't understand why he woke up in the way he did. And as we all imagine, the amount of things he did for so many people, we imagine he was going to be very enlightened spirit. And he was not. So there is a long story, super interesting, why he didn't have so much light. So many good, because of so many good things he did. What happened? So you can listen a few weeks ago, or you can buy the book, Voltei in Portuguese. I don't think we have this book translated to English. I can search a summary and I can publish in put back in my inner light for you guys to read and re-listen. So continue. So he's talking about the obstacles that Spiritism faces in America. And then he is telling him that it's a beautiful work, it's admirable, it's a missionary work, but it's not as good as it could be. So it's saying that he should not overestimate the capacity of conception and action, the attachment to the phenomena that determine the appearance of barriers that we did not count on. So basically he's saying that the Americans, they are very connected to the phenomena. Americans really enjoy mediumship. So they get fascinated about the mediumship. And who doesn't get fascinated about mediumship? Mediumship is a phenomenon that's extremely interesting. So when you think about the powerful mediumships of Chico Xavier, Divaldo Franco, Raul Teixeira, how these Brazilian mediums describe how they can see spirits, they can talk to them. And the Chico Xavier even used to ask spirits, I'm sorry, my friend, are you incarnated or discarnated? Just for you to have an idea of how powerful was his mediumship. So he had a difficult time to understand if that person was in the physical body or not. So it's not common. This does not happen to every medium. As we know, we are all mediums per se, but yes, there are the ones that have an ostensive mediumship that can be in hundreds of different degrees. Most of mediums, they can hear a little bit, they can see a little bit. They are the ones that are a little bit more ostensive, so they can write, they can psychographic messages. But to have the mediumship to the level of Chico Xavier, Divaldo. It's not very common. But we also have to know that the mediumship is not circumscribed to Brazilians. It's not circumscribed to spiritists. So there are lots and lots of mediums everywhere, in every religion, in every social field, in many families. And you must be asking, but why we don't hear so much about it? Well, first of all, there is a lot of preconceived ideas about mediumship. People think every single medium is fake. They are lying. Unfortunately, people think about it. Yes, it is true that unfortunately a lot of people lie about it. They create fake mediumships to make money. They are trying to make money on it. There are also real mediums that are also making money, and it's not a problem because they are not spiritists. In spiritism, we know that everything we receive for free, we have to give for free. So you were born with mediumship, so you should give this for free. And it's hard for a lot of people to understand. I have to tell you, even when I was very young, I was a teenager and I had mediumship. And I started as like a joke playing tarot cards. Actually, I did anything you dream about. I read hands, I play tarot cards, I play I Ching, Búzios, whatever you think, I did. I was extremely attracted to it. And it was extremely easy. I never understood. For me, it was so easy, it was so natural. I didn't need to study anything. I just throw the coins or the cards or whatever, and I already could say anything. But it was because of my mediumship, and I didn't know it. So a lot of people start like searching. For me, I was just 15. So people start coming and they wanted me to see their future. They wanted me to do this and that. And I was like a teenager. For me, it was just a joke. Like, this is a joke. And I can do it for fun. And then things start getting a little bit more serious because people start saying, oh, I'm going to pay you. I'm going to give you gifts. I'm going to do this and that. I didn't really know it was not good. But I have to tell you that sometimes after reading some things, I start feeling really sick and feeling very tired and not feeling good. Because when you don't have a protection of a spiritist center, when you don't have the study to understand how to deal with your mediumship, you can actually attract lots of negative spirits for you. Because if someone has a problem and you are dealing with spirits, that spirit's going to be attracted for you. And now you are going to be dealing with this negative entity. So when you don't know what you're doing, it can be dangerous. So I am extremely, extremely thankful to Spiritism because I was able to understand that this type of things you shouldn't play because you can get burned. Like in Brazil, we have a saying that how is it? Forgot how to say it, even in Portuguese, but it's something like if you don't know how to play with something dangerous, be careful because you can get burned. So this is more or less the explanation. And that's what was happening to me. So thankfully, I did a reading to a friend and I saw something extremely serious, I heard. And I didn't know how to deal with this. So I said a little bit about it to this person. The person got really desperate. I got even more desperate. I was just 15. And I decided that I didn't want to play with this any longer. And never more I played with mediumship. Never more. I stopped until many, many years passed. And, I think I already said many times here, my mediumship returned in full ultra power. I had no idea how to deal with it. It was very scary for me because, one thing is to see one spirit, another thing is to see 30 spirits together. So I really was desperate. And as most of people that don't know spiritism and don't know how to deal with mediumship, the first thing we want to do is really, please, how can I get rid of it? Because that's what the majority of the people want to do. And it's understandable. If something is very scary and you don't know how to deal with it, the idea you have is, please help me to get rid of it. And that's how I did. But, we are never alone. We are always with a cloud of testimonies, as Chico Xavier used to tell us. And when you are doing something good, when you are trying to better yourself, you're trying to be a good person, you are always protected. You are never alone. Your guardian angel is always with you, inspiring, guarding, and protecting you. So I was inspired to contact the same family of when I was a teenager that I was very, very scared. And the same family had become spiritists. So when I met them, and I went to meet them for a totally different reason. And as soon as I met my aunt, because she was the mom of a good friend, and I always called her aunt, she's the one who started talking about spiritism and mediumship. So it was a blessing because I was able to open up with her, to tell her that I was extremely scared. I didn't know what to do, how to deal with it. I was really thinking I was getting crazy. And she told me, "Oh, Angela, it's only mediumship, nothing else." And I was like, good. How do I get rid of it? Anyway, I'm extremely, extremely thankful that she was able to help me. The next day, this was a Saturday, Sunday, I asked for help and she said, "Come to my Spiritist Center and we can talk about it." And it was like this. The next day I went to the Spiritist Center. I was able to listen to a lecture. I already bought many books and I discovered the codification of Kardec, and I got hypnotized because the Spirit's book is a blessing. And boom, that's it. From that moment on, I never stopped studying Spiritism, and I was able to learn how to deal with my mediumship, how to protect myself, how to stop seeing 30 spirits at once. and then this energy controlled that I was like this. So I became more or less like this. So my life went back to normal, and with the study, we discovered that mediumship is a blessing, and nothing happens by a chance. So when we come back, when we reincarnate with mediumship, it's because we have to do something positive with it. So we have to use mediumship to help others and not making money, because making money, we are helping ourselves. And if we did not study, if we didn't go to college to discover this mediumship, it's not that we went to college to study it. If you never studied, this is something intrinsic from your physical body, then you should really work with this for free. But it's not every medium that has to work with mediumship too. So there are so many intangibles. But when at least when we are blessed to be in a spiritist center, first we understand this is normal, this is common, and it can be very helpful for us and for others. And the second, we are not crazy. We are not crazy. And with the Kardec codification, with the medium's book, you can fully understand all different types of mediumship, why it happens, how it happens, how we can protect ourselves as mediums, how we can help spirits. So this is a blessing. And as I was saying before, there are mediumship everywhere. But unfortunately, most of the people who don't have any kind of a person that understands a little bit about the spiritism or any spiritual philosophy of life, they have a tendency of not talking about it, because the majority of the society sees this as really like or the person is crazy, or the person is lying, this is not possible. So most of the people try to hide it. But here in America, we actually have some very famous mediums. They have TV shows. There is a blonde medium, I think it's the Long Island medium. She has a TV show. She's very famous. There is another guy that also had a TV show. Forgot his name. He's super famous. And even if they charge for sessions, they charge for TV show presentations, they are still doing a good job, because they are bringing knowledge about the other side of life to people that maybe are extremely materialistic people that never believed in it. And we know that the TV is a very powerful tool. So they are able to bring this knowledge to hundreds, to thousands of people, spreading this everywhere. So this is good. This is very good. But be careful with those mediums that are all in every corner, the psychic ones that they charge you $10, $15 to tell you about your future, because most of the time nothing it's real. You are gonna just lose your money, your time, and maybe you are even get connected with some spirits that are not the best. So this is important for us to be careful about. So what Horace is talking about here is this connection to the phenomena of a mediumship, that the Americans have this very strong tendency to get connected with the phenomena. And we know Spiritism is not just mediumship, but mediumship is just one little portion of it. We know that Spiritism is really your inner transformation. That's the most important thing in Spiritism, is when we are able to really change ourselves, when we are able to see something and we understand that's not good anymore, because maybe that was good for us many years ago, but it's not good anymore. Today I was listening to a lecture of Divaldo Franco, and this lecture is actually for over 20 years ago. It's great to hear Divaldo Franco, because he is a very famous speaker for so many years. So you write Divaldo Franco on YouTube and there will be thousands of lectures Unfortunately, not many in English, but we already have many in English. You can write Divaldo Franco and English, and then you're gonna find some that were actually translated, interpreted in English in many different countries. So this is already a plus. So in this lecture, he is talking about mediumship. So he's telling about his experiences, and then Divaldo was always so super funny, and you can never stop laughing with his experiences in the mediumship. But I actually forgot the main point that I wanted to talk about Divaldo. Oh, hold on, let me just read what was written here because I didn't even pay attention. So Teresa posted a website of a Bíblia do Caminho, and Teresa, are you really speaking Portuguese now? Bíblia do Caminho, uhui! Is Bíblia do Caminho in English? I don't know. I know Bíblia do Caminho in Portuguese, but you're really good. So site for translation to English. Oh, you put a site for translation in from Bíblia do Caminho in English. Wow! Teresa is our official translator. I have a small WhatsApp group that we talk about Spiritism, and we have many messages in Portuguese. Usually, Carla Marques publishes it, and Teresa is our official translator to English. So let me see what Claudia wrote here. I believe that Spiritism has grown a lot in America. Remember 30 years ago, there were few centers in Miami, for example. Yes, of course. It's growing sporadically. You have to understand that this interview with Brother X was in 1966. And I don't even think we had a Spiritist center in New York. I think the first one was open actually when Divaldo Franco and Valdo Vieira came to the United States for the first time, and they helped one to be open. And from there, it started. I remember when I moved to the United States in 2000, there was only one Spiritist center in New York in English, and they had very few books in English, not many books, few books. And the books they had in English, they had actually got a bunch of volunteers to translate it into English. The name of the center is SGNY. It exists until nowadays in Manhattan. So they were the pioneers in New York in English. So it was really a blessing. And nowadays we have like hundreds of books in English. So nowadays it's beautiful because we have publishers like Edisei that have hired professional translators, and then they have many books translated into English. So it's a blessing to all our non-Portuguese speakers, because there were always books translated to Spanish, but English was a little bit more difficult. So to what Teresa said, Google Translation accuracy not perfect, but to get the main idea in English. Yes, Teresa, and thank you so much for always doing the translations for us. You are great. The time flew so crazily, and I have 13 minutes. So I comment only until page 60. And I read until page 61. So it's so important to comment about this, that I think it was good. It was important. So I will mark that we stopped here. And next time we do the study, I will read this page again, and I will make more comments, and hopefully we can finish this beautiful interview. Okay, so I have just 10 minutes for us to enjoy the gospel according to Spiritism. I love this book. It's like my baby. It's so good. It's so important for us. And most of the people don't pay attention to it. And I feel so bad because it's so important. Hopefully, you all are able to do the gospel at home once a week. You can do it anytime you want, for the period of time you want. The idea would be at least for 15 minutes, and you can choose the day. For example, I do it every Tuesday at 8:30, and I do it for almost 1 hour because I read many books. And I even included now the Spiritist review, and you can do as you want, but this book is a blessing. Anytime you have a problem, you're stressed, you're nervous, think about and close the book, think about it, pass your fingers around, and then open. And the page you open will be the page that will help you, will give you some guidance, some inspiration, some words of positiveness. So it's a blessing. Okay, so we are in chapter 5, and I would like to read the 29, 30, and 31. So the title of the 29 is Sacrificing One's Own Life. So it's important to read at least the question so you can understand. The question is, are persons who are disillusioned with life but who do not want to commit suicide guilty for seeking death on battlefield with the intention of making their death useful? So basically, Kardec is saying this person wants to die. He wants to die. He wants to kill himself, but he wants to die in a useful way. So he volunteers to go to war, for example, and he knows he will die in war, but at least he will be doing something good. He's fighting for his country, for example. That was the question of Kardec. So the Spirit gives a long answer, but the first sentence already says everything. Whenever persons kill themselves or have someone else do it, their purpose is always to shorten their life, and consequently, there is suicide by intent, if not in fact. So the important thing is what the person wants to do. Does this person want to kill themselves? What is their intent? Is their intent, their purpose is to kill themselves? Yes. Well, so if the purpose is to kill themselves and he or she dies, in the other side of the life, when he wakes up, he will be received as a suicidal. So this is very important for us to fully understand. You know, someone, but he was so depressed, he wanted to kill himself, but he actually didn't kill himself. He died in war. But that's why it's so difficult to say, how do you think this person woke up in the other side of life? We don't know, because we can never fully understand what were the intentions of this person. What were the real feelings, the real thoughts, or what that person did with their physical body. We know the spirit of André Luiz from the book Nosso Lar. He did not commit suicide intentionally, but he committed in different ways because he used to ingest a lot of alcohol. He had a life that was a little bit perverted sexually. So he had many things that made him to be reborn, to wake up in the spiritual realm as a suicidal. So this is the same thing here. Everything is the purpose. What is the purpose? Was the purpose to kill himself, and then a bomb suddenly exploded and he died, but he actually wanted? So yes, he will be seen as a suicidal in the other side of life. Number 30. A certain man exposes himself to imminent danger in order to save the life of a fellow being, knowing beforehand that he himself will die. Would this be considered a suicide? That's a different thing. This is a person that throws himself in something. Let's imagine, I don't know, a tsunami. Tsunami is happening, and this person is protected in a building. And then he sees a child going through the water. And this man or this woman, desperate, fully feeling connected with that poor kid, jumps in the water. And in his mind, he's like, I will die, but I will try to save this child. So everybody else might think, wow, he killed himself, because it's impossible that he will survive this. And we don't know. So as I just mentioned before, everything is the intent. So this person's intention was not killing himself. This person's intention was saving the other one's life. So if this person unfortunately dies, he will not be received in the other side as a suicidal. He will actually be received as a hero, because he tried his best to save the kid's life. So the answer is short. The answer is, from the moment in which there is no intent to seek death, there is no suicide, but devotion and self-denial despite the certainty of dying. But who can be so certain? Who can say that Providence has not reserved an unexpected means of salvation at the most critical moment? Could not Providence save someone who is right in the front of the mouth of a cannon? On many occasions, Providence wishes to prolong the trial of resignation to the ultimate limit, when an unexpected circumstance diverts the fatal blow. And this is from St. Louis in Paris, 1860. So this was also important for us to understand. Wow, we still have 5 minutes. So as you can see, the important thing is the intention. Everything is the intention. So if the intention of this person was really to save someone's life, he did not commit suicide. He actually tried, as the Spirit says here, was an act of devotion and self-denial. So it's very, very beautiful. Hello, Cecilia. Welcome, welcome. Too bad we are basically finishing. And then let's read the last one. Making one's own suffering profitable for others. So it's a little bit strange, no? Making oneself suffering profitable for others. So the question is 31. Do not those who resignedly accept their suffering by submitting to God's will with an eye on their future happiness work only for themselves, and can they render their suffering profitable for others? The answer is, this suffering might be materially and morally beneficial to someone else. Materially, if through labor and privations and sacrifices they impose on themselves, contribute to material welfare of the neighbor. And morally, by the example they offer on their submission to God's will. This example of the power of the Spirit, faith, can encourage unfortunate people to resignation and saved them from despair and disastrous consequences for the future. So basically, Kardec is asking if someone's suffering, like going through difficult hardship, to help others, if this is good or not. And the Spirit says, yes, it's good. If it is materially, so you're working hard, you're doing everything you can to build up school for poor kids, to donate money for a cause that requires so much, and you are working so hard and you might die doing it. This is very beneficial, and it's materially beneficial, but also morally beneficial, because your hard work, your everything that you did so hard inspired other people probably to say, look at this man, he is sick and he's working so hard, or he's doing everything he can, he never takes the money for himself, but he's donating here and there. So this beautiful moral characteristics will also inspire other people, and the ones who are benefiting from it too. So any sacrifice we make, and it's materially or morally done, and it's really genuinely done, it's positive, you are doing it with your heart, it is beneficial, and it's a good example we leave for others. So imagine us here. It is Thursday night. There are lots of shows on Netflix. There are lots of movies. There are lots of things you could do. You could be sleeping. You could be in a bar. And we are here. Yes, you're probably going to say, but this is not a sacrifice. Yeah, it's not a sacrifice. But this is a beautiful commitment within ourselves. We are improving ourselves little by little, studying this beautiful doctrine of Kardec, listening to this talk or to so many others. Kardec Radio has so many hosts, so many books that you can search. Nowadays, technology is really a blessing. I love reading books, and for me, it was very painful when I moved to Miami and I didn't have New York subway system to be 1 hour reading my books. But then I'm like, whoa, Angela, reinvent yourself. Then I discovered the beautiful lectures you can have on Kardec Radio, you can have on YouTube, you can have in so many different tools. And I'm driving and I'm still using my time in a positive way. I love music, but yes, I prefer to listen to a good book or to a good lecture. So my friends, it was a blessing to have you here, sacrificing yourself with me, with my poor English. But I enjoyed deeply. I'm glad you were here. Thank you so much. And let's now do a quick prayer so it can connect us to our guardian angel. You can have your water blessed, and this will be your good medication to whatever you need, spiritual disease or physical, or just a good energy boost to our lives. Okay? Dear God, our Master Jesus, our guardian angels, thank you so much for staying with us, inspiring us, blessing us. Please send these good vibrations to our brothers and sisters who were not able to listen to us at this moment, and they might be connected later on, so they can also benefit from it. And help, Master, all of us to continue our progress of being better people, helping others, understanding that only through love we will be able to evolve. And forgiveness is a big part of it. Thank you so much. So be it. So my friends, thank you so much for being here. This was a pleasure. Thank you for all your comments. I'm glad you guys were here. And I will see you back in 2 weeks. Mwah! See you soon. Bye!